Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Insights Tech Showcase Sample Management Series. I'm Molly Strawn, Senior Marketing Strategist here at InnovateMR. InnovateMR is a global online sampling technology firm generating high-quality data from engaged panelists. We are here today to talk about a foundational shift that is occurring in the world of sample. The industry is seeing a growing need for better insights, compelling storytelling, and trustworthy results, but researchers can't wait weeks or months for their answers. Businesses, large and small, are facing enormous pressure to innovate and pivot in a volatile, hyper-competitive market. To meet this demand, advanced and trailblazing technologies have become increasingly important. Researchers must adopt agile survey design, intelligent sample procurement, field management, fraud mitigation, and rapid reporting methodologies to truly capture the consumer sentiments of today with accuracy. Today, we are going to learn more about InnovateMR's newest product collection, the Vision Suite, and the sampling flexibility it offers to conduct pulse research for reliable, instant insights. I'm here today with Jake Leal, Senior Director of the Vision Suite. Jake has extensive experience in both client management and technology development, giving him a deep understanding of the sampling and research process. He is a thought leader in new age sampling methodologies, data quality best practices, and white-gloved managed services. Jake is also a champion in the pursuit of democratized access to insights. If you have any questions as we go, be sure to drop those in the chat. But without further ado, take it away, Jake.
Thanks, Molly, and thanks everyone for joining. I'm excited to walk you through the Vision Suite today, and specifically how it can help you reach your audiences faster than ever before. For those who are not familiar with the Vision Suite, this platform is designed as an agile research tool. It's aimed at streamlining the traditional research process and empowering users to take control of the research, all from one integrated platform. The Vision Suite integrates aspects of survey creation, sample procurement, and data integrity, all into a seamless workflow. And for the purpose of our discussion today, I wanted to start our demonstration with a primary focus on vision sampling and how you can identify core audiences, set up custom automations, and easily launch projects in minutes. To get started, I'm going to go into vision surveys and launch a study that I've already programmed. From there, I'll jump into vision sampling, and I'll show you all of the capabilities I've been discussing. And so with that, let's get started. As we look at my screen here, we're showing the dashboard for the Vision Suite. And like I mentioned, we're going to jump into vision surveys. And for the purpose of our discussion today, I'm going to jump into that project that I mentioned, which is all about movies. So we'll keep it fun, light, right? Movies, there's some good stuff coming out here soon. So what we've done here is programmed a quick survey asking people what their thoughts are and really where they're going to watch their next movie. And as we focus on vision sampling, we're going to come up here and we're going to focus on the Share tab. And once we enter the Share tab, here we can put in some preliminary information in order to outline the audience you're looking for. So for this one, we can put in the number of completes, the expected qualifying rate, the length of your survey. This one's a quick one, so we'll do a minute. The country of interest, so we'll do United States, and then a category. And so given it's movies, entertainment is the perfect one. So once we have this in place, we can come down here to By Panelists, and this reserves the participants who will go ahead and take the survey. Once in place, you will see an update over here in which you will see the number of participants that you outlined and a button which allows you to initiate the invites. So instead of clicking this button, I wanted to go into the back end and show you a little bit more detail around vision sampling and some of the other criteria that you can set up with regards to automation, targeting, and quotas. So if I come up here, I'm going to go to sampling. And here we can see our movie trends. If I click in, I'm going to continue on and go into edit, and where we can see some of the initial setup. From this page, we can see the links that we had set up from vision surveys, the number of completes, the qualifying rate, and the LOI. And here, one of the efficiencies of the Vision platform is the integrated sample. So instead of having to deal with redirects or project managers in order to get your survey going, all of this is going to be pre-embedded. It all communicates to itself, and you don't have to lift a finger. So we can see here that the redirects are already in place. If we come down, We talk about customization and automation, and this is where some of this lives. So under alerts, you can select here, and you can see you have the ability to set custom queues to be notified of events. So if you wanted to be notified when the project is halfway through, you can enter 150 and then you can go ahead and choose text or email. If you think you wanted to be notified if the incidence is lower than 70%, you can enter that here. And if that study ends up being 5 minutes instead of a minute, you can put this in as well. And again, you can pick and choose how you would like to be communicated to. Outside of that, we also have some additional features where you can pick and choose device type configurations. You can go ahead and put in pre-survey messaging, and you have other abilities in order to kind of just custom tailor your communication to your audience. Outside of this piece, we can then come up here and go to sampling, where we can really modify the audience that we want to speak to. So with moviegoers in mind, right, we can look at the different targeting that we have available. And it starts off with demographics, things like age, gender, do they have children, income, right? All this could be important. We can go into geographic profiling. So it's DMAs, regions, states. All of this is available for you to pick and choose. We have profile questions. So whether you want to do a quick keyword search, if you wanted to browse our profiling library based off category, or you wanted to create your own custom question, we allow all three. And so we really give you a lot of customization with how we reach the audience that you have in mind. And last but not least, sometimes you just want to keep it easy. So if all you care about is being representative to census, we have a census rep template here where you could toggle on age, gender, income, region, or ethnicity. And we will simultaneously set up your quotas for you and make sure that the completes fall out representative to those percentages of the census. Also, if you ran a study in the past and you really just want to copy it over, we give you the ability to import targeting and quotas directly from this page. For the purpose of just outlining a general audience, moviegoers can be pretty broad. We'll just go ahead and over here, put in some age parameters, some gender parameters, and then maybe we're curious about the regions that our respondents are coming from. So we can put that in as well. As things proceed, you'll be able to see feasibility estimates populate here. And then you'll also be able to see age, gender, and region, all the profiles we've included represented down here as well. So you know everything's in order. Outside of targeting, we also have the ability to set quotas for the audiences that we have in mind. And so for something like this, maybe we just want it to be representative in gender, maybe a 50-50 split. So if we were to accomplish that, we'd come over here, go to gender, select male. We could put 50-50, or even on something like this, a 60-40 split would be safe. So we could do 60%. If we want to do the opposite side of that, we can copy this and swap out the profiling attribute. And then now here, you'll have a 60-40 split with regards to gender. And this is all taken care of, and it observes both from a sampling side and from a reporting side in vision surveys. And then one of the final things that we have available is also fielding automation. So when it comes to just making research faster and more seamless, part of that is understanding your fielding timeline. So we have fielding built in here, and we have two modes that we offer our users. We have the ability to do it as soon as possible because research doesn't sleep. But for those who want a little bit more nuance and cadence to their research, we also have a field evenly feature. So based on any field start and end dates that you enter here, we'll look at the number of days that you have spanned out, and then we'll actually break that down evenly across days, and the system will know only to send for those very specific amounts. So this is also another feature and automation available to our users. And then when it's all said and done, if we wanted to come back and we're ready to set this live, it really is as simple as pressing that play button. So we can come up here, confirm all the specs look correct to you, and you can go live immediately. Or kind of the final cherry on top, we also have a scheduling feature. So depending on if you are working in different markets, or you have a very specific cadence in which you'd like the invites to go out, you can actually schedule the launch times as well. So you have full control over when your invites go out. And like we saw with the fielding feature, even on how much per day it goes out. So just another aspect of vision sampling that really does give you full control. And now, as we can see, click the button, we're live. And that's what goes into vision sampling. And really, that's just the beginning. Another really important factor that relates to sampling is data quality. There are many ways we can assess respondent engagement and attentiveness. So it's really just another aspect of the sampling process that I feel like flies under the radar at times.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jake. Thanks so much for taking us through that sample management section. But I really do want to get into the data quality aspects that Vision does offer. So we can switch gears a little bit and talk about that key component. Many industries have seen an increased need for advanced quality safeguarding in the last few years. Just recently, InnovateMR's Lisa Wilding Brown spoke at the Insights Association Town Hall about the future of cyber fraud in the world and how far-reaching it truly is. Cybersecurity Ventures projects that the global cost of cybercrime is going to hit 10.5 trillion with a T, by 2025, and if it were a country, it would be the third largest economy behind the United States and China. Scams have increased by over 400% since last March, and 43% of all security breaches are from web applications. This has doubled since 2019. According to IBM, it took 228 days on average to identify that a data breach had even occurred in 2020, and it took an additional 80 days to contain it. There were also 11 times more phishing complaints in 2020 than compared to 2016. It's really shown us that COVID-19 is the biggest threat that cybersecurity has had in years. And the key to combat this is partnerships. It's so important to find and create transparent partnerships with your research providers and understand that no solution is going to mitigate every threat. At InnovateMR, we recognize that fraud is ever evolving, and we've set up a layered approach to participant quality that employs multiple checks throughout the survey process, from panel registration to pre-survey checks and post-survey checks. Jake, could you take us through the Vision Quality Dashboard and highlight some of the key tools that can be employed for quality assurance and safeguarding?
Yeah, I'd be happy to walk through the quality dashboard. Previously when I had set up our survey for movies, I had added some quality safeguards. So now that we've collected some completes, we could take a look at those safeguards that I had set up. And so we're back on our movie trends here. And really, we looked at share earlier, but what I'll do now is we'll dig into quality. And so like Molly, like you mentioned, right, with all the attention on quality and everything that's going on, you want to have layers and you want to have the ability to kind of pick and choose what those layers look like and how you define them. And so that's what we're looking to do here within the Vision Quality Dashboard. If we come in here, again, the layers, we look at them from top to bottom, but we'll give you the choice of digital fingerprinting. So if there's different fingerprinting methods that you like, different companies like to work with, we have options here. We can look and choose whether we want to remove people based off duplicate IPs, if we want to look at duplicate cookies, if we have the digital fingerprinting turned on for the survey links, right? You can toggle all of this on or off, and this just gives you added security. Outside of the fingerprinting, we have straight lining checks. So for this one, we had grids in this survey. So what I turned on is, if they had 5 or more identical answers in the same grid column, I wanted it to be notified. This is movies, right? So sometimes people are zealous. So it's not necessarily a terrible thing if they're all the same answer, but it's something that we want to be aware of, right? So if it's top to bottom, all the same, or even diagonal, all the same, I wanted the system to notify me. And the way I did that is I came down here, put those criteria on, and then I said I wanted to be flagged. We also have the ability to terminate in real time as well. But again, it's about giving you a choice and how you want to review your data. We have scales. So this survey had grids, but if you had scales, we can do a similar format where we identify if someone has identical answers over the same amount of scale points. We have speeder checks. So a couple different things here. If we wanted to flag somebody who comes in under a certain amount of minutes, we can do that. We also see that sometimes folks just want to look at like a percentage faster than the average. So that's what I did for this one. So anyone that was 30% faster than the average respondent, I wanted to, again, have it flagged, take a look at the answers, and really dig into the data to see if they were engaged or if they were just speeding through. And last but not least, we also have consistency checks. And this is really good for longer surveys. So if you ask a question earlier on in your survey and you want to double check later on to check for consistency, for honesty, validity, all the good stuff, you can actually set that up here. So we have the ability to select specific questions that you have programmed, identify the response that you want to coordinate, and then select the second question that you want to refer back to and match up that response. So here, again, we're going to give you the customization in order to pick and choose the questions, the response types, and really what you want to do with these respondents once you find them. Those are the quality checks, which look more on the quantitative side of things. We also have the text analyzer built in as well. Text analyzer is going to be a proprietary tool to innovate into the Vision Suite. And what this does is it takes more of a qualitative look at your data. So with the text analyzer, it's essentially an AI-driven open-ended prompt. It looks and assesses the open-ended responses for things like gibberish, copy-paste, profanity, duplication, and speeding behavior, characters per second. So we have all of that built in and it runs in real time. So you can toggle text analyzer on for any of the questions that you have programmed and it will assess them across all of those merits. Also, again, giving you options here. If you don't want to use maybe a question that you've created yourself and you want to leverage our library of questions, we actually have another facet of evaluation built into this tool, and that's going to be contextuality. And so within Text Analyzer, if you use one of our programmed questions, you will get all of the things that I mentioned, as well as contextuality. So we can see, hey, was this a decent answer or was it a great answer because they actually engaged with the prompt, gave clear and definitive answers? Was it relevant to the question? All of the above. The logic built into this is going to help assess that. And again, flag folks for you if you want to be alerted to those that don't look like they match, or you can terminate them in real time and we can remove folks who do not provide high quality responses. And so with that, you can pick and choose languages for the text analyzer. Currently, we have English, Queen's English, French, German, and Spanish all built in with some additional ones in the pipeline. You can pick and choose how many text analyzer questions you'd like to incorporate. You can choose where you'd like to put them. So that way, if you have specific placement, we can accommodate that. And last but not least, you even have security settings here. So you can pick and choose the scrutiny in which you evaluate the open ends that are submitted. So whether you want to choose low, medium, or high, we give you the flexibility to choose how stringent we assess the open ends. And as we wrap up Text Analyzer, I think it's worth noting that it actually won the Stevie Award for Most Innovative Product, which we're super proud to bring home. And as we wrap up data quality, I believe we should have some completes by now. So let's go into the results tab. And real quick, let's look at the insights that we're starting to collect. Oh, wow. Okay. So we have 304 completes. Got a couple extra, but that's awesome to see. And real quick with the results tab, I'll take us through this really fast just so we can kind of close up the suite. But when we first come in here, we're going to be shown frequency tables as a form of visualization of the data. So here we can see things like age, gender, all broken out by base sizes and percentages. If you come over here to the right, you can even jump to specific questions if you wanted to kind of see what was most important to you. So if we're going to come over here, I knew this one has open ends. So this one is just a kind of a quick shout out of the different responses that we got. So we can see here, when thinking about how you watch your movies, would you stay at home theater experience, the movie theater experience is better and why? And so we can see some really good responses here as to why people are saying that. Yeah, okay. And then outside of the frequency tables, we offer respondent level data. So within the respondents tab, we have a quick snapshot right at the top that shows you sort of the most streamlined data or the ones that have just come in. You can kind of check it out and look at it at a high level as to what the answers look like. You can come down to the bottom and see the respondent level data. And so that way you can see all the answers start to finish and how the whole data set looks like. And then on the right, we give you the ability to filter and favorite. So if you see a panelist that you really like, you can come in here and favorite them. And then with regards to the filtering, we're going to default to completes. But if you do have some favorites, we can jump to those directly. Or if you want to check some of those quality checks that we put in place, we can come down here and look at what those look like. So come down, look at the data, and it looks like we have some straight liners. So down here, we can see they straight lined this entire grid. Come down, and it looks like, again, similar themes. So the data quality checks are in place. And this is something that we could have removed these folks in real time, but we wanted to give you also the opportunity to flag them and look at the rest of the answers or the open ends in order to see if you did want to keep them or not. Okay. And the last piece is just custom reports. So when you come in here, we know that sometimes you have the data, sometimes you got to put reports together. So when you click on this button, we're going to give you just that option. So on the left, we have a custom report editor where you can drag and drop specific questions and slides based on the presentation that you may want to put together. In the middle, we have a global filter, which lets you split the data based off specific questions or profiles. And then if we come down here, let's look at some of this. So streamed online versus watched in the theater, this is an interesting one. We can click on specific questions and then come over to the right and actually go ahead and do a crosstab based off other questions being asked. So in real time, if we wanted to look at how folks watch their movie and break that out by, let's say, age, we can see here how that all fell out. And then as we go along, you can add titles to specific questions. You can default to percentages. And you can even change the data visualization types. Okay, we'll go here and just see different things. And at a high level, that's the Vision Suite. Molly, were there some other items you wanted to cover?
Yeah, I think, since Vision is a relatively new product, I'd love to ask you some questions that are, a lot of the frequent questions that we get, as well as some questions we got in the chat here. So the first one I have for you is, we oftentimes hear about clients that run tracker studies, and we're getting into tracker season where people are thinking about, reconfiguring everything and getting it ready for the next year. Yeah. And they already have established sample partners and established sample blends that have to stay the same in order to actually really see those data changes over time and make sure those are reliable. So when it comes to the Vision Suite, can these clients that have these existing relationships bring in any of their external sample sources? Like, how would I get my own sample partners into Vision? Is that possible?
Yeah. And actually coming up to the fourth quarter, it's always interesting. And even coming out of the fourth quarter, right, when you redo your trackers and your blends, this comes up a lot. But the short answer is yes, we can accommodate that. What we have is within the Share tab, we have the ability to incorporate custom links. And so whether, that could be client lists, right? We could do that. But for the case of your question here, we could also incorporate external partners as well. And really the nice thing is, outside of just being able to do it, within Vision sampling and Vision surveys, you can also layer in all the data quality checks that we looked at. So whether that is the data quality dashboard with the digital fingerprinting or the straight liner checks, speeders, text analyzer from a qualitative perspective, you can run all of those partners through that. And so you get the benefit of that, really. And then also from the quota control section. So whether it's the quotas that you set up, in Vision surveys, you can control the allocation in which the partners can participate. So you talk about blends, right? And you talk about keeping things consistent. We can not only get them to all participate within our platform, but we can actually make sure those blends are adhered to. And that way you don't have to worry about SKUs or anything like that. So yes, we can definitely accommodate that.
So that's really great about being able to bring in external sampling sources, keep blends the same, and also use the Vision quality tool. So that's excellent. So what do you think is the best, in your opinion, use case for Vision? Like, where do you see this being the most successful?
Yeah, it does a lot of things well, right? So I think there's a lot of good use cases. But when I think about like our current users and when I'm talking to like researchers or business owners about like where this maybe makes the most sense, I would say like quick pulse surveys, directional research is kind of a new term that I've heard more and more lately. Concept and tagline testing, general consumer research, and we even have some users who do B2B projects. So Innovate has their own proprietary B2B panel. We don't have the platform integration yet, but it's in the works. So yeah, we can even accommodate B2B, and then soon it'll be as easy as a click of a button.
That's awesome. And, I do want to add this too, that at Innovate, we understand that research it's completely not just plug and play. It exists entirely on a spectrum. Each project a client needs may and often does require widely different combinations of methodologies and approach to fielding. So whether that's full DIY, where the Vision Suite is really revolutionizing how researchers can get faster answers, or really high-touch managed services, InnovateMR also offers white glove service. So whether you'd like a consultation in developing your questionnaire, helping with programming and hosting, fielding to our reputable international panel, or you just want to log in and run it by yourself, or most likely something in the middle, we've got you covered. It can sometimes be a challenge to convey that in all of our messaging, but we can truly handle anything you need. And that actually leads me to the last question about vision, which is, all of these different researchers that are taking into consideration all these different methodologies. Who do you think is the ideal customer for the Vision Suite?
Ideal, huh? Honestly, really anyone with questions is the ideal user. And it just varies, right? Research is on a spectrum. So one day, I find the team and we're supporting business owners. Some other days it's marketing professionals, product teams, and really it boils down to anyone who needs faster answers. So there's not a one size fits all. I feel like we support the whole gamut of researchers and business owners alike. So
thank you so much for that wonderful answer, Jake. And that actually brings us to the end of our session today. Thank you so much to all of you for joining, and Jake for being here and giving us that in-depth look at the Vision Suite. We invite you to learn more at www.innovatemr.com and get in contact with one of our research experts one-on-one to see if the Vision Suite and the InnovateMR team is the right fit for you and your research. If you had any additional questions that we didn't address in this session, feel free to shoot them over to info@innovatemr.com and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you again and have a great rest of your day at the Insights Tech Showcase. We'll see you at the next session.